Hello there. Good evening. Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Showdown on Iceball Station. I'm GM Lurch Lurchington, here again with our players and their characters. I have with me this evening the Bendu, playing Narset Jinn.
All is as the Force wills it.
Captain Worram, played by Dan.
Hey everyone.
Xavix Silverstar, played by David.
Hello.
And of course, played by our host Kyle, Zeef.
Hello there.
Gentlemen, if you're ready to see if the Force is with us, let's roll Destiny. It is 3 darks and a light. The Force is with me this evening, gentlemen. Excellent. Excellent. So, we return. Well, let's go over what happened last session. Last session we started with the Jedi, because David had pressing business. Xavix had an interview with Kolvar about his entry into the Expatriates Club. He gave over his identifying information for a background check, but he was assured that given the intimacy of the club at this point, it was a pretty sure thing on the vote. Xavix then returned out to the bar where he found Narset still talking with Kintera, the archaeologist. Kintera was asking...
Kintera, man.
You're trying to flirt with Kintera? Well, Xavix came over like a big blue cock block. And asked, so are you talking to the archaeologist? With the archaeologist sitting right there. And that's how he got off on the right foot there. We had to pretty much move away from that conversation fairly quickly, but you did succeed at getting things back on even ground before we moved away. So we'll return the camera there to that awkward conversation where Kintera has been telling you and Narset that...
Yes, well, it's been a while since we've gone out, but I've been down in the motor pool knocking the rust off the old water so that we can go out on one of the expedition tracks. I've explored all of the leeward side of the island, but the windward side has its own challenges and dangers, and basically how far the expedition gets would depend on who I was taking each time. There are some excellent guides down in the village below. Really wonderful people, and we will be bringing some of them with us, of course, but I'm sure with 2 Jedi with us, who knows how far we can explore. We'll be out for 2 days, if that's all right with the 2 of you.
Narset leans over to her and gently, nudges her Kintera's shoulder with her shoulder and be like, "Don't worry, I'll keep you. Don't worry, I'll keep you safe."
Right, go ahead and give me that charm check there. Let's see if she is thirsty for knowledge. Not in this case. So she smirks at you, and you feel the blush of an unsuccessful charm check, and that is the first thing that brings your mind back to your stay on Dathomir, where your way with the other young ladies in the Night Sister tribe were just as smooth as they were here. Kintera turns and begins straightening up the piles of data pads that she has stacked up on the bar. She goes,
I need to put these away in my suite, and then head down to the village so that I can hire some Sherpas. Have either of you been to the native village yet?
No, but I've been wanting to stop by and pay homage.
she goes,
Well, if you wait here, I'll grab you before I head out.
Are you
Perfect.
joining us, Master Silverstar?
I'm sure I will be.
She finishes gathering up her data pads and hustles off so that you two can converse in character. And then we'll push fast forward. She'll only be a few minutes. Any sage words, Xavix, now that it's just you and Knight Jinn?
We just look at each other after, dude, we just had an entire interaction with, those droids and everything.
Yeah, it's still being cleaned up over on the other side of the room by a couple of turtle men with brooms. They're very slowly sweeping up debris.
Yeah, so
it definitely wasn't the best intro.
Yeah, Narset looks over to to Xavix and was like, well, that was definitely an interesting first day.
Yeah, definitely. It didn't probably go as planned, but definitely was fun. I need to go shore up some stuff though and take care of a few things. Do you have anything else you need to do?
You know, I was looking at some of your armor earlier, and the idea of us going to a volcano, I would like something a little bit more durable than the robes that I currently have from the Jedi Academy. So I think, I would like to stop and visit that armor that you visited real quick. Strengthen my own self for a moment.
How much gold do you, or how many credits do you have? I'll get tracking sheets.
Well, if you must know, Master Xavix, I'm at 435 or 535. Unlike you, I was not so quick to spend my money. But also, unlike you, I am shit at gambling. So, like, yeah, you have much better gambling luck than I do.
That's why he hangs with Lando and you don't.
Yeah.
They're two peas in a pod. That's why you were riding up front. You and him probably know each other.
Yeah, I guess there is one way to make all the money that we need to finance this trip. So I'll definitely go take care of that myself then.
Yeah, because you gave me like kind of like a head nod when I paid for the drinks at the crab people when we left that first tavern. So, but yeah, I'm at 535. I'm at 535. But we'll see how much the padded gear is. But shall we? What do you need to take care of? I shall accompany you.
Oh, that's okay. I'll take off on my own to handle it.
Wonderful, sir. Then I guess I'll wait for Kantara to come back, and then I guess I'll buy the armor. I guess I'll buy the armor with her when we go visit Crab Town.
Sure. So you're gonna wait for her, and Xavix, down here in the bar, are in the length of time that this conversation has taken, Kolvar has returned. So now all three of your mates around the Hintaro table last time are back in the room. If you want to attempt to...
Now, they all know I'm a Jedi.
They do now know that, so you're going to have to go and make some social checks to convince them that they want to...
They're going to fucking cheat.
Yeah,
I
mean, like, they already know the outcome of this battle. I'm going to use the Force.
Are you?
Like,
that's like, you could just... You're a Jedi, right? Isn't the Jedi's like,
honorable? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. If you
that's what I'm saying is like I don't want to betray their trust, but
the
why
Jedi
would
Praxium wouldn't.
Try to, like,
in canon, the Jedi Praxium would care less than the Jedi Order of Old.
Yeah, sure, they wouldn't. But if he makes a promise or whatever,
you know what?
like,
well, sure,
that's
yes.
Conversation with,
but he's going to have to make a die check to see if they'll even believe that first. So
all I was trying to say is
talk to all three of these different gamblers to see if they're willing to play with a Jedi and if he can convince them, or if that's something he even wants to do. It's not. Earlier, they were like, yeah, we want to play. And now they're like against the Jedi. He's like, listen, I promise, no fingers crossed, I promise I won't use the Force. They might believe him. And if he's like, I promise I won't use the Force, maybe they will believe him. But we don't know until he actually tries.
I feel so bad. I feel so bad for doing that.
Lying or not, he has to determine ahead of time, and then he'll take. If he doesn't make that promise, he won't take conflict. But if he promises, now he will take conflict for breaking his word. The Praxium, and whether they have anything to say on it doesn't matter. It's his own personal morality.
Are there
any
stormtroopers downstairs that he could cheat against?
There might be. Those guys are also hungry for some shake-up because they've been here for a couple of weeks. They came promised a race at a swank casino. They showed up. There was no race, and everybody left the casino. Now they've been left to drink for a couple of weeks with nothing to do.
I'm absolutely down to go run a train on the Imperial soldiers there.
Do it.
You might even get some of these other gamblers along to do that. That's probably an easier check than getting them to let you play against them.
So what I would love to do is go to the X-Pac Club and talk to Rathimir.
You want to talk to Rathimir?
No, sorry,
Kolvar. Yeah. You're waiting while he's doing this, Narset, but Kantara's going to come back, and then presumably you're going to leave while he does that. We'll keep the camera with you guys for a bit, and then we'll go back to our friends.
Zeef and Worram.
Exactly. So you're going to go and talk to Kolvar?
Yes.
Excellent. He spreads his arms wide and says, "My friend, Mr. Silverstar, I hope you're enjoying yourself. I've got our accountants looking into your history, but as I said, it's just a formality."
Well, at this time, I have another idea that I think would work out really well. How would you guys like to take a little from the Imperial soldiers downstairs and go gamble as a group together? I know now that you know I'm a Jedi that gambling against me was a moot point unless I just let it happen to chance, but how would you like to go down there and do that to the Imperials instead?
It's such a dark side thing to say.
So go ahead and make, I guess it's a negotiation check?
What?
I would say charm or negotiation.
Yeah, negotiation or charm. So,
Whatever you got yellows in, man.
I'm going to go with charm.
Hey, Narset, do you have your saber handy?
Well, I do, but I'm not going to use it on him.
Despair.
So successfully, with an advantage, he goes, "I like the sound of that idea, but I still want to see how good you are as a gambler, so I'll go along with this as long as you promise that you won't use the Force."
In gambling against them?
Yes, that's right. Every man deserves a fair shake. That's the old Republic way, and that's how we feel here at the Expat Club. Sir, these are also our guests. We don't share their political alignment, and we would love it if our other guests would return, our more affluent guests, but at the moment, they are the only ones paying our bills. If you go down and rook them, the same way you rooked us, they'll leave as well, unfavorably, sir.
Well,
Didn't
that's
we
fine.
just
I
discuss...
guess we'll do it. I have faith in my ability to gamble.
He says, "As do I, sir, and in my own. I'm sure we'll take them. And I love your boldness at doing so, but we have to do so in a way that they are left with a pleasant taste in their mouth." So despairingly, he wants you to not use the Force and to, like, let these guys feel like they haven't been taken. And he doesn't want them, like, pissed off at the end of it. You know what I mean? But he certainly wants to go down and, like, you know, run it on them. If that's your, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you can play against each other and take them in the meantime, kind of thing, or whatever, like in your pots, you know, like he's down for that kind of thing, but he wants to see how good you actually are, because you just cheated him yesterday, but he's down with it, you know what I mean? So
all right, let's do it.
Success, he's cool with it, you know. He
It's
goes,
a game recognized game.
You'll have to talk to the others yourself, but tell them that I'm behind you.
Should
So
I
you'll get
pull
a
out,
yellow
should I pull out my
dot.
lightsaber to get their attention again?
I think probably that's going to give mixed messages. Certainly,
Maybe look around the room for security
If you want to
droids.
fight some more, I understand that role players do want to use those combat skills. Also, you know what I mean. So we can fast forward to the expedition where the lightsaber will be useful, but probably not in a social setting again.
No. Let's go ahead.
If you want to use the lightsaber to get attention, use it downstairs. It'll attract the attention of every Imperial in the room.
All right. So, okay, then I'm going to have a conversation with everyone there, and to kind of like fast forward through, you know, maybe a montage of talking.
You can
to
make
everybody.
one check if you want to, but so the other two gamblers are the Phaline woman and the Rhodian, and those are the checks you really need to like pass, because the Rhodian felt like beaten yesterday.
Okay.
And then like you were like, "I'm a Jedi," and the Phaline was like, "Ooh, finally somebody else who's a good gambler." You know what I mean? And like, "I'm a Phaline, we're kind of predatory. Hey, you know what I mean?" And then you're like, "Oh, I'm a Jedi." Fucking Jedi. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So you have to convince her and him to go along with it. Those are the other two gamblers in the club, and you need to convince them as well as Kolvar to go along with you.
All right.
So-
Well, here I go. Trying to go over and talk my way into it. I'll go over to the Phaline gambler first and ask her if she wants to take a shot at me when she knows what my advantage is. Like, kind of like egg her on and say, like, "Do you want to really see if you can beat me? Do you want to test yourself?"
She crinkles her nose and she goes,
Jedi, we learned our lesson when your master killed our prince over Coruscant.
"I'm not
My
doing
master?
What?
that." She says,
Nope.
Yes, your Skywalker, who killed Prince Caesar years ago over Coruscant. I'm not testing myself against you.
Well, then how would you like to take from the Empire?
"Let's go ahead and get the check before she gives you the answer, but you're not able to charm her. You're going to have to use a different kind of check because she is not charmed by you.
Okay. Let's do negotiation then.
And in fact, despairingly, you fail. She goes,
No, I want nothing to do with you.
That's fine.
In fact, I have half a mind to go downstairs and have a word with those Imperial.
Is she threatening?
I was
me?
glad this was a refuge. She's sort of...
You think Rathamir would really like it if you killed his new favorite member?
She goes,
Of course not. That's why I'm only thinking about it.
I wouldn't do such a...
I wouldn't do such a thing and go against the club. I'm a member here. You aren't yet. We haven't voted yet.
She just wants to warn the troopers that
Despairingly, she's letting you know that she doesn't necessarily want you a part of this club.
Casino.
Fuck, dude.
Okay, dear. Have fun with that. I'm gonna go talk to someone else that matters.
Gonna go full Jedi or Anakin in the Jedi Temple here.
Damn.
Yeah, let's go ahead and make my way to what's his name?
All right, but you still got an advantage. So,
Hey, you. What's your?
as you walk over, the Rhodian leans in and he goes, "I knew I was a better gambler. Frankly, I'm relieved that you revealed yourself as a Jedi, and that bitch has a stick up her ass about it." What is it you were talking to Kolvar about? I see the smile on his face from over here.
Well, I had talked with Kolvar about going down and gambling a little bit. He was into it as long as I didn't use my force powers, which is going to suck, but it would have been down. I'd have liked it if we had had more of us, but I feel we can go down there and give them a run for their money and take them for their money the right way.
So because you got the despairs, you're still going to have to make the check because he goes, against the Imperials, I'm frankly glad that we've retreated up here away from them. I'd rather not come down until they're gone. So go ahead and make you can still make charm or use whatever your best is. He's, not put off by you, but he's not intrigued by this. So another despair.
Another
and he's
despair.
Like,
Ooh.
he's like, I like the idea that you won't be using the Force, but really, you should leave that lightsaber up here too, so that none of them see it. Just for safety's sake.
You should mind trick him. Just be like, it's okay that I bring it with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna flip a destiny point here.
Be like, I can't leave my.
Yeah, I'm not leaving my
That's
lightsaber.
fine. You can spend the only destiny point you guys have to put your foot down about that and override the despair.
It's worth
You
it,
can
guys.
do
It's
that.
worth it.
That is fine.
He could get taken prisoner without it. Like, we should...
I mean,
let him
Narset
do
may
it.
want me dead for some reason, but I'm totally down to protect myself.
No, and like if we need that destiny point in case we get hit by a lava, or in case like Zeef gets thrown out of a window again.
I'll land on my feet.
We might need that destiny point for anything. Worram's car blows up.
And I need it for my lightsaber now.
Yeah, exactly. The Force wills it.
And I need it for my shit now. I love it.
I need my money now.
This lightsaber is your life, right? Can't.
Yeah, it's not happening.
It's very samurai.
You're like, no, I have to, and flip a destiny point, and even though you got a despair. He's like, yeah, okay, Kolvar said yes. But, like, the wind is out of his sails, because, like, he feels like this is going to go wrong. You know what I mean? He's, like, looking around at the wreckage of the battle around. As this conversation ends, Kantera return. She heads over to where Narset is presumably still waiting at the bar. She says,
Master Silverstar said he was joining us. Is he not?
No, I suppose not. He had some other business that he needed to attend to. I know he needed to, as he said, quote-unquote, make some money. So I know he's going to do that. You did mention that you were going to Crabtown. I would like some more probably padded clothing before we go exploring a volcano. So I would like to visit the armorer, but it would be very important for me to go visit the locals of Crabtown. So if that is where you are going,
I need to hire some Sherpas for the expedition.
And if there's one thing I've learned, it's never to underestimate a good relationship with the local people.
she nods, she says,
It often assists me in my expeditions. and the locals here are invaluable in my journeys to the windward side of the island.
She heads over towards the turbo lifts with you and says, if you'll be joining me then. And you guys head down, and the gamblers head down a little bit afterwards, and we'll deal with that. Or we'll come back to that. We want to see how you sell that, so we're going to stay with you guys, because you're going to head down into the main floor, and you see that now that the expats have left the main floor of the club for overnight and well into the afternoon of the next day, getting towards the end of whatever kind of working hours these Imperials are keeping under the sort of light supervision that they have from the couple of officers and non-coms who came along. And they've spread out across the floor of the club. They have spread out, and you do see that there are a couple of groups of Imperials who are playing either cards or rolling dice on some of the tables down there on the main floor. But the area up here near the turbo lifts that the expatriates had kept to themselves is now filled with, well, there's a couple of troopers up here as well who weren't here before when you return. Kintera frowns at this and walks quickly across the room towards the main door and pulls you along, Narset. And Xavix, you hear Kolvar Harumph next to you and say, this is what I'm saying. As soon as we brought them in, they took up as much space as they pleased. I never thought this was a good idea, this whole race idea. Well, the race wasn't a bad idea, or I wouldn't have accepted the idea, but he shakes his head and says,
Eraser.
You've already been pulled away. But yes, that's exactly it. He goes, we could have picked a better racer to endorse. And he shrugged. He goes, well, Master Silverstar, who are our prey? He indicates the tables where Imperials are playing cards and dice. And he goes, you want to stick with the dice? Do you trust them to fall without your twiddling fingers to adjust their course?
Phrase.
Twiddling
He
fingers.
says, or would you rather stick to cards? A game where skill comes into the matter.
Don't say twiddling fingers.
Say whatever I want.
Yeah.
I'm the GM here.
It doesn't matter. Whatever you're comfortable with. I'll do well in both.
That's such a word.
The confidence of a Jedi.
He frowns. He's considering like both possibilities. Does he want to leave it to chance with the dice, or does he want to test skill against skill? And does he trust you or not because of the despair up above? You know? And like, which does he think he can compensate? He goes, even if you aren't true to your word, I think I can beat you at cards. But he looks around and he goes, but these lads, they seem to favor the dice. So we'll stick to the chance cubes.
There we go.
Yes.
Logically, cards would be the... Unless you did some super dark side shit and you're like, I'm going to use a force power so that they...
I mean, you could use the Force to get a read on bluffs and tells. Like, that would definitely give you an advantage.
You can, I mean, yeah, you can do sense to do it.
You could not change your hand, that is true, but you
But you
know
could
when
try to
fold
read
and
what
to...
cards are coming up, or... Oh, these Savak cards are going to change, but I can already see the next faces that are going to be on
Yeah, if I know what's going to be dealt next, I know exactly how to play it. It's kind of like knowing what your opponent has in Hold'em. I know whether to fold or to ante him up a bunch.
And if you know what's going to come on the river, then the math you're doing now and the math you're doing then is totally different math.
Absolutely.
And if you know what those are going to be, you don't even need to know what are in their hand.
Yeah.
You know, well, you do for the betting still, but it gives you more information there anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're not close enough to touch them, but you might be able to, like, you know, as you're getting, you could get the dealer or something, because until you improve the range, you have to, like, touch somebody and read them, kind of thing. But these guys also don't have droid dealers because they're not up on the casino floor. They're just rolling down here. Kolvar goes, we'll have to do this down here. The ceiling from your ward's show earlier won't be repaired for a few days with the rate that the maintenance crew moves at.
Yeah, sorry, she has rage issues.
says, "It was quite impressive. I feel terrible for poor Rathemith, but of course we wouldn't be any of this trouble if it weren't for his idea. But of course I approved it, so well, the blame spreads in every direction." He strides out confidently across the floor of his club with the Rhodian Pixelplix following timidly behind him towards a table where 3 young gentlemen are playing at the chance cubes. 2 of them are wearing the black under jumpsuit of stormtroopers, and the 3rd is actually still wearing his armor. His helmet is sitting on the table next to his drink. They look up with a mixture of expressions as you come over. Confusion, worry at your fine clothing and the idea that they don't fit in. Confusion at why you've come over. Dismissal and mild disgust at your alien complexion. And just the idea that, we're here now and you people shouldn't be talking to us. This is our place now. Are spread across their faces. But it all sort of adds up to neutral across the board. And they look up from their cubes and go, "Yes?"
Okay. Is this one open?
Oh, yes, there is room for you guys to join.
Fantastic. I'll
Yes,
sit
so
down.
you would be... Oh, you're just going to sit down and you're not going to say anything?
No, why would I bother?
All right. It's still going to be a check. So that's going to be... I'm going to say coercion, because you're flexing on him.
Intimidation?
Yeah, so that's coercion
Yeah.
in this game. That's what that translates to.
Another despair? Are you kidding me?
What is
Successfully.
going on with these dice?
Oh my god, you've
got an
gotten
advantage,
like
by the way.
4 despairs in a row. That's
So
crazy.
successfully,
I want my
got
advantage
you-
to be that I scared them at the table. It scares them, defying them.
Your advantage is that they are intimidated as you sit down. But despairingly, as you and Kolvar sit down, you hear Hixelplix squeak behind you, and you feel a hand fall down on your shoulder as a uniformed and capped Imperial officer leans down between you and Kolvar and says, "Gentlemen such as you shouldn't be playing with the rank and file. If you're going to join us up here in the private booth we took away from Kolvar."
Ooh, I didn't know you didn't want that one. Yeah, I look up and say that I'm glad for his invitation, and I thank him while I follow him.
All right.
Nice. Well played.
Nice.
We're going to move away from you guys and come back to that later so that we can get to the other gentleman.
Wow.
So,
Something tells me Xavix's next game is going to be like the bar scene from Inglourious Bastards.
Bravo,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh yeah.
The drinking game scene, that's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to feel like, tension-wise.
Go. This is a Fargo episode today.
so we move out. We see Narset Jinn and Katarn heading down out of the casino in a black and gold speeder from the motor pool. As they pass down into the center of town and pull up at the lower square where the armor shop, the droid smith, the healer are, just down from the market, they are passed by the V-35 Courier in blue and white that is the company lease of Zeef's detective agency. The camera follows it up the side street towards same said detective agency, and we pull into the garage. Zeef is throwing a Quarren, who's now just waking up, out onto the cold floor of the garage as Worram shuts down the speeder. Stomper jumps down off of the back deck of the speeder and lands just in front of the Quarren with a heavy thump as the fusion generator, the heavy metal casing, land on 2 nigh impervious metal feet, just a hand's breadth away from the splayed out tentacles of the Quarren on the Duracrete floor. He gurgles in surprise, and his beak claps as he struggles. Zeef stands over him with a webbed foot between his shoulder blades.
Well. Are yous ready to answer in a few questions? Me's a hoping so, because me's a palo here, and I gesture to Gonk, really wanted to go for a little walking today. You're no wanting him to do a little walking. Does you?
Do see.
So that's going to be your coercion check.
Alrighty. All dice have canceled out.
Well, that means you don't succeed.
Okay.
There's no threat or anything. He looks up at you and looks down and he goes,
That's fine. I'd rather have him walk all over me than have my head nailed to this floor by Dinsdale.
Zeef lets out a heavy sigh and says, Alright, Stomper. You's heard the man. And,
but is he going to, stomp him
I'm
unconscious?
No, he's gonna walk forward. I want him to just step on one tentacle. Like, we're gonna eat, like, I want him to, I'm not giving up on him. I'm gonna give him, twist the screws just a little bit and then ask him more questions. So that failed, so yeah.
You forgot the boost die that you were supposed to have, so now that Stomper's actually stomping, just roll that blue die. Because it's all canceled out, and if you get a success from Stomper's stomping from the blue die, you will have now succeeded, and he will give you up more information. A success and an advantage.
Okay. Well, what do you want to know?
Points at you, he goes,
You're that smart-ass frog.
Smart-ass frog.
What did you just say to me, son? Give him a smack. It's racially insensitive. You can't call me a frog. So yeah, where do the shipments touch down planetside? How many warehouses are involved in this? Give me the coordinates and the comm frequencies of your little gang, or Stomper's going for a little walk.
Right, so now you're going to make another check.
Okay.
Probably coercion again, because it's your best. So you're going to get one piece of information, but more detail about it than you would have otherwise. He goes,
We drop it in the bay. That's where most of it's done, except for the part of the processing that has to be done above land. Can't be pressurized.
Interesting.
They drop it out when ships come and land at the landing platform. When they drop their swill, they dump out the stuff with that. We recover it.
So, like many planets, spaceships want to be as light as possible as they're coming in for a landing, so they have less mass to break. So, plenty of the cargo ships that are coming in to pick up Klauzon 36 from the landing platform here on Iceball just dump their waste right there at the mouth of the bay before they come in for a landing, and possibly again on their way out. So in addition to the waste being spewed by the gasworks there by the city, out at the mouth of the bay, plenty of stuff is dumped by those ships that come in and out all the time, and they could easily dump all kinds of packages along with that. He goes,
They make the drops out there. It never even comes into the city. You're lucky you stumbled on us.
Luckier than you're about to be. Alright, so can I just keep rolling coercions and ask him more questions?
I mean, we stuck with those guys for a while, so until you threateningly or despairingly this guy clams up and you're not going to get anything else out of him, if you want to keep making checks, you can. We're going to keep the camera on you for a while, so if that's what you're prioritizing right now, you can absolutely keep asking.
I want to get more out of this
guy. You haven't rolled any despairs yet.
Is Worram in the room, or is he
He's shutting down the speeder and can do whatever he wants because he's there too. So after this first round of questioning, Worram is finished in the speeder and gets out as well. Worram, do you have any comment on this interrogation going on, like a couple of feet away as a pacifist?
Yeah, I'm probably.
Are you just leaving as quickly as possible?
I think
that
I would.
Eye stalk to it.
Yeah, like I know that these are bad people, but yeah, I still don't want to be a party to it. So I think I'd just be either heading out of the room or maybe trying to do a little bit of good cop, bad cop, like charm him, myself, while Zeef does like the.
Zeef's getting ready for his next round of interrogation.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Let's do that. So I'll try and do like the good cop, charm check.
Perfect.
And try and, we don't want to hurt you, friend, but my friend here has a short temper. But if you can,
he's talking about Stomper.
We can make this easy on everybody if you can just give us a little bit more detail, and we'll be able to smooth all this out.
Nice.
So, he goes,
Well, you've busted up our operation enough already. We only had the one warehouse, and then we move and you snag me again? You're putting a damn crimp on things already. And I don't know what else to say. I just move boxes and mix chemicals. Your boss nabbed our boss yesterday. We don't know what the boss has to say about it, but he's not going to be happy.
He looks up at you, Worram, and he goes,
Do you know anything about who we work for? Has he told you anything about who he used to work for?
and I'm going to spend a destiny point. Go ahead and flip that for me, Dan. He goes,
We work for the Karkaro brothers. They're the biggest fish on Narset. And this guy, when he was just a little tadpole, him and his buddies wanted to swim in the school. And then he sold his friends out.
he goes,
I know who you are. We all do.
he goes,
That hologram was still on when you went into the warehouse last night. We pulled that recording too. We know the boss is coming in a week and a half, but when you came in and busted things up, he saw you, Zeefy.
Oh shit! I didn't think about that.
he goes,
You can do whatever you want to me. In a week and a half, Dinsdale Karkaro's gonna come and nail your head to that fucking workbench. Doesn't matter if I'm alive to see it happen or not.
Zeef leans in, looks him dead in the eyes, and says, "There's always a bigger fish."
he says,
Yeah, his name's Douglas.
go ahead and make a fear check, Zeef.
All right.
Okay, so failure, but no threat, so you don't get any ongoing effects of like setbacks against
It just
you
gives me the
ongoing.
willies.
That's generated by threat, but you are like, nah, man. You know what I mean? He says Douglas, and literally involuntarily, whatever else you were gonna say, you think about the fact that the toughest guy you ever knew in your life. You know what I mean? In your gang, from when you were a young kid on Narset all the way up until when you left 5 years ago when things went south. One of your best friends, the toughest guy, the smartest guy you know, the leader of your little clique. The one time he went and met with Doug, he came back and he looked like he'd seen death. And that's the thought that goes through your mind when he goes,
Yeah, the bigger fish. Doug.
and then he passes out. So whatever else you're going to do to him, he's unconscious for. So
Well, I was about to make him unconscious, so that just saves me a step.
that's fine.
Now that he's unconscious, I turn to Worram and I say, was thinking maybe we should take our friend here up and offer him to Spider in exchange for getting your ship out of landlock. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd definitely be down for making some good inroads with Spider.
Yeah, I think if we can hand him this guy, if we could work him over a little bit more and get that comm frequency and offer that to Spider as well as this guy, I'm sure he'd give us a little something on top of just getting the ship out of the locks.
Taser and wake.
You know, wait for him to wake up and then torture him some more.
No, just taser.
Well, I'm positing to Worram. Do you think it's worth it to work him over? As a pacifist, are you willing to deal with us getting more info, or should we turn him in? Is he's already a prize for Spider?
I think that
The
Worram
Hutts
would
will
be-
torture him when
Exactly.
they get him. All,
Yeah,
you know,
I don't
themselves.
think that Worm wants to be party to any more than he has to be.
Sure, and
so
it wouldn't be
he's
necessary.
going
It's just
to.
for sweetening the pot. So
Yeah.
I say we load him up into the speeder.
Yep.
Let's make sure he's restrained this time. I'll throw my binder cuffs on him.
Cool.
The cheap ones, since I no longer have my nice ones.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
He threw-
excellent.
He threw the guy off.
I
With
threw
them.
the guy out of the speeder and didn't get my nice ass cuffs back, so they're somewhere on the streets around a skeleton.
I forgot about that. I never took him off
Yeah.
your sheet.
Yeah, my fucking contact at the bar is walking around with my comm link in his pocket still too.
Junior?
Yeah,
You put a bug on Junior.
I put a bug on Junior, and I still have
He's
not used
definitely
it.
found it by now.
Okay.
You know, if you just put it in his pocket, he's definitely found it by now and been like, "Hey, come on." You know what I mean? If I switch the SIM card out of this, I'll be able to use it. You know. Then he gave it to some guy, and they broke it. You know what I mean?
It's a
it's
whole
in
thing
some-
happened with it.
It's in a drawer now somewhere. Yeah.
You can read about it in Tales from Iceball Station from Del Rey.
Exactly. The story of the comlink.
Yeah.
Link.
So you guys are gonna load him back in the speeder and head right back into the city then.
Well, what time
As-
is it? Is it daytime, nighttime?
By the time you get there, it will be like it's not business time yet. You know what I mean? It was just before as they were leaving. It was like 4 o'clock.
I'm
by the time
concerned
you
about
get to the
contacting
hut
Spider
compound-
past his bedtime to not
It won't
Yeah.
put
be
him on
too
site.
late.
Okay.
No. First
Okay.
of all, Spider's bedtime is gonna be like 3 a.m., 5 a.m. You know what I mean?
Right.
Second, because the business at the hut complex is going all night, and like they do the whole even without him there, they still have to do the scene
Right.
the whole time.
And they're also
by the
synced to
time
Hutta
you get
time,
there-
so...
By the time you get there, it's actually just going to be swinging because it's going to be like 7-ish. So it's going to be early, but like the early birds are going to be getting there, and
Got
they're
it.
actually going
Okay.
to have to like be in operation. You know what I
Perfect.
mean? But it won't be like packed and like people aren't doing business anymore because it won't be late, but it'll be early evening by the time you. I don't know what bar time is anymore. I haven't gone out drinking fucking 10 years. So
I was gonna say bar time's such a good metaphor.
yeah.
Yeah, it generally picks up between 9 and 10, and then
Right,
lulls
exactly.
at
And
midnight,
it'll be
and then you've just got the
early.
hardcore alkies until 2.
Well, that was me. I was an alcoholic, and then I stopped drinking like 12 years ago. But I still went out for like
Nice.
another 6. You know what I mean? But I haven't done that at all. I've been like a homebody for a while now.
Yeah.
So I'm not on that time. But it's going to be early. You know, like they're not going to be swinging yet, but it's going to be late enough that they're going to be getting ready for that kind of thing. Like the band's going to be warming up, kind of thing.
Sure.
Um.
The roadies are still loading in the second act.
So
Cool.
Worram and Zeef shackle the Quarren with Zeef's binder cuffs, load him back into the speeder, and head back into the city again.